All right, well, let's get back to real life, or whatever we're calling this thing now. Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. And it's a confusing time, but luckily, we've got news experts.
Trump won, so what now?
We have no idea what Trump is going to do.
We may not know who we're getting.
There is a great unknown about what Donald Trump is going to do.
Nobody on the planet knows what Donald Trump's going to do.
That's true. Nobody on the planet knows what Donald Trump's going to do, including Donald Trump. He's making it up as he goes along. His presidency is basically going to be a high-stakes improv scene. All right, folks, I need a character and a location and something much better than Obamacare. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not surprised that people are terrified at the prospect of a Trump presidency. I mean, you've probably heard of many Americans saying they want to move to Canada, which is slightly presumptuous, in my opinion. Like Canada is just going to wave you in. You realize that Canada has very strict immigration policy. To be eligible, you have to name at least 6 cities in Canada, which is actually pretty easy. I mean, there's Vancouver, there's Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, Nickelback, Celine Dion. Cool. So anyway, since Trump's victory, you realize I've been asked that question by many people. A man in the audience asked me that today, whether or not I'm going to run away back to South Africa, which I find slightly ironic. Before Trump, there were people who hated me who were saying, "Go back to Africa!" Now it's people who like me saying, "You should go back to Africa, man. You should really go back to Africa." But here's the thing. Running to Africa won't necessarily shield me from Trumpness. Because remember, when I first started hosting The Daily Show, I said Donald Trump reminds me of an African dictator. And we had the evidence to back it up.
I am the one who has got the money.
I made a tremendous amount of money.
My people have great praise for me.
People love me. Everybody loves me.
I have got a very good brain.
God helped me by giving me a certain brain.
We will win. We will be winning all the time.
We will have so much winning if I get elected that you may get bored with winning.
Yeah, remember that? Remember that, right? And that's what I said. It reminds me of an African. Although I will admit, now I feel like I owe African dictators an apology. They were probably watching this election like, no. I might kill people, but to grab someone by the pussy, no. I have decorum, huh? What kind of a man grabs it? You touch it, maybe you rub it, huh? Why are you grabbing it? Maybe your hands are small, that's why you have to grab, eh? No. Now, the thought of Donald Trump as a dictator was funnier when him in power was hypothetical. But then, America decided to shake things up, and now it seems like the best place for you to find the answers about a possible future lie in the third world, which I know can be hard for a lot of people, because you usually look to the third world only when you want to guilt trip your kids when they hate their Christmas presents. Well, I'm sure some kids in Africa would love to get this educational computer game, Timmy. And don't get me wrong, I know that hearing about foreign politics can sometimes be drier than Marco Rubio's tongue, but bear with me here. Looking at leaders like him may be the only way to figure out Donald Trump. And I'm thinking specifically of my home country, South Africa, also known as the one African country you can easily find on the map, right? Yeah, it's just like Africa, there, cool. Up until a few years ago, our economy was humming, tourism was thriving, and we too were celebrating our first black president. You remember that feeling? Yeah, you know that feeling? Basically, times were good.
After 27 years, Nelson Mandela walked out of Victor Verster prison today.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup will be organized in South Africa.
South Africa's Oscar Pistorius won the day.
Oscar Pistorius is the Paralympic champion.
Oh man, so many good memories. I was in the crowd when the Simba thing was happening. Yeah, we had to stop doing that because the next year he dropped the cub. It was weird. Anyway, the point is things were looking up for us as a nation. But unfortunately, in the last few years, things have taken a turn for the worse. The economy has stalled, unemployment is at record highs, government corruption is rampant, and it wasn't just Oscar Pistorius who disappointed us. Just last year, Simba was arrested for securities fraud. Yes, so why did this all happen? Well, I'll tell you why. Because South African voters decided to shake things up. And so we elected a man by the name of Jacob Zuma, a charismatic anti-establishment president. And I know you can't relate, but bear with me, bear with me. You see, the inept, self-serving way that Zuma has run his administration has turned South Africa from a rising power to a very troubled state. And the reason I'm telling you this is that because when you look at Zuma and Trump, it seems like they're brothers from another mother.
In South Africa, that country's high court says the nation's president, Jacob Zuma, should face more than 700 corruption and fraud charges.
Donald Trump has over 400 lawsuits against him right now.
Zuma is building his reputation as the man of the people.
Donald Trump is a man of the people.
Jacob Zuma's most avid supporters can be found in rural areas and townships.
His supporters are overwhelmingly rural area voters.
He was also charged and then acquitted of rape.
He has a rape status conference with a judge coming up.
Jacob Zuma was called the Teflon politician.
I've said it time and time again, he is the Teflon Don.
Yep. Just like my president, Donald Trump, appears to be Teflon. Literally Teflon, though. I think that's what he's spraying on his face. That's why it looks so strange. And now, look, all of these similarities are amusing on the surface. What's more important is understanding what a leader like this could mean for America. For instance, let's just look at what Donald Trump said just this week.
The president-elect says he plans to place his company in a blind trust to be run by his children, but legal experts say the definition of a blind trust is that it's run by people not in contact with the owner.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that we have to say this, but Donald, the point of a blind trust is that you can't see where your money is. It reassures the country that their president isn't making decisions for his own financial gain. If your kids, who you talk to every day, are running the trust, then it's not blind. You see, it's the difference between Ray Charles and Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles, right? One of them is blind, and one of them is faking it and getting rich in the process. We saw the same thing in South Africa. Jacob Zuma started off like this. He's like, oh, my kids are going to run businesses. And they do. They also run businesses. And then those businesses have won billions in inflated government contracts, which has cost the taxpayer millions and billions of dollars, and they've screwed the economy. So what's another one of Donald Trump's signature moves?
If I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Oh. I wonder if... We're probably going to have to cut this, but I'm like, can his dealer get to the White House? Whatever. So Trump using prosecution to intimidate his opponents, it might seem like a novel thing in the US. But just like soccer, you might want to get used to it. You see, it's called state capture. Hijacking state resources for your personal benefit. And by the way, the term state capture, we didn't know that term in South Africa until this year. Now we just use it in common, like everyone's just like, state capture, yeah, state capture, state capture. It's become a normal thing because in South Africa, it's a tactic that Zuma has exploited again and again. For instance, this year, when the finance minister of South Africa called out our president for illegal business dealings, Zuma ordered our FBI to prosecute the finance minister on dubious charges. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, we don't call them the FBI. Our agency is called the Hawks, right? And before that, we called them the Scorpions. And yes, I know our law enforcement agencies sound like gangs in a bootleg West Side Story, but we like it. It makes us feel at home. You know, it's not only great for intimidating your rivals as well. It's also good because it distracts the people from the problems you're having. And now I'm not saying that Donald Trump will do that, but if he does, you guys owe me 20, right? For everything that you look at, Zuma and Trump even feel the same way about the media.
Even the media, they think they know me better. No, the people of this country know me better than they do.
And the media are among the most dishonest people anywhere at any time. But they can't stop us.
They've tried to tell people how useless this man is.
They write lies, they write false stories, they know they're false, it makes no difference.
That's a problem of the media and whoever else is behind the media.
The election is being rigged by corrupt media, pushing completely false allegations and outright lies.
It's exactly the same. It's almost like when they leave the house, Melania's like, okay, Donald, I do Michelle's ones, you take the African guy's lines, okay? You see, when you're the head of government and you're trying to get away with a free press is not your friend. It's the reason that President Zuma has been trying for years to get the legal power to censor South African press. Or as Donald Trump would so eloquently say,
we're going to open up those libel laws so that when the New York Times writes a hit piece, which is a total disgrace, we can sue them and win money. So we're going to open up those libel laws, folks, and we're going to have people sue you like you never got sued before.
yeah! I love the crowd cheering like they getting the money. We're all getting the money! Yeah! Now again, I'm not saying that Trump's definitely going to do that. But if it's true, I'm not going to be able to say that later on. So I may as well say it now. Now, luckily, Zuma hasn't been able to muzzle the press in South Africa, right? Because he doesn't have control of South Africa's court system. That is a big hindrance to him. But a hindrance that El Trumpo may not have to face.
He's going to be filling the lower courts. There are dozens of district court vacancies, federal court of appeals vacancies, and these are the courts that actually decide the vast majority of litigation in the United States.
At least one Supreme Court justice, maybe as many as 4.
Trump will potentially shape the court for a generation.
Now look, there are many differences and many similarities, and I'm not saying it's going to be the same here as it is in a third world country. Of course not. I'm saying it could be much worse. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you like that video, click below to subscribe, or click here to delete the internet. Yes, you found the button. Please be careful. Delete the entire internet right here.